It's because I'm healthy all year round.
Yes, I just wanted to kind of explore for you what health has meant and, your go-to sources for prioritizing your health. Where do you get your health information, and how do you notice if there's something that needs your attention with all the busyness that you do? And feel free to jump into explaining.
These are great. I will do my best. This sounds like there could be some circular talk here, but you'll chop it up, I'm sure. Yeah, no, sure. Let's do it. I love it. Physical and mental, right? And spiritual.
Yes. And that's what this podcast is all about. So what's that look like for you?
What all of that look like for me? Wow.
Pick a piece. Pick a part that resonates with you.
Pick a part. Well, so it's been a maturing process, really, because I started in athletics and, not athletics, but athletics, very young age. I played football for 14 years. So as far as and I say a maturing process because, much like if you get religious and you talk about prayer, et cetera, there's different stages of prayer. There's very immature prayer, and then there's mature opening up to just, being, right? And accepting and trying to be that tool of good, right? Which is kind of I don't know if that's the most mature, but that's as mature as I got. So, or am getting, and I try to go more there in the spiritual as well. But so as far as health, it started out with that. It was being healthy enough to play sports, to be a football player, to play basketball, and to be at track and be exceptional. I found out I was really good at it. So I got hooked on the physical aspect of it. Right. And so I can't or mentally go through 2-3 days without exercising. It just doesn't work. I feel not only poor physically, but mentally and spiritually as well. It's more of a all encompassing experience to actually work out for me, because I've been doing it for, oh man, I hate to admit it, but I mean. So for 46 years or longer, been working out and running and doing all that type of stuff. So from a physical aspect, and maybe I'm breaking it down wrong, but I mean, that's the way I break it down, is to compartmentalize what we're talking about here today, is that physical aspect is there. And I always left it. Well, and so I'm 56 years old now, and so I chewed tobacco for 40 years, Copenhagen for 40 years. I ate really whatever I wanted to, because I never gained the weight, so I was always eating a bunch to put the weight on, anyways. Kind of exercising and working out so much, so I'm taking in 10,000 calories, 12,000 calories a day, and doing that stuff, and that's just not healthy. And so I've cut all that out, and so eating healthier has been something that I've matured into as well, because we don't live forever. And I count that as fortunate that we don't live forever, because I don't know if you, really want to live forever.
It's interesting though. There are people in the AI space that are really trying to make us immortal or mortal. We don't know which word.
Yeah, well,
implant devices in us, and so we can live forever. So.
I plan on eating and exercising and taking care of my mind, body, and soul, so I have a good life, whatever length that is. And hopefully it's as long as possible. I have young kids and older kids, and so be here as long until they're like, you know what, Dad, just move on. Yeah. and do that in a happy way, I guess. Right?
Yeah. Well,
is that a good goal? I think that's a pretty good goal.
Yeah, it is. So, yeah, I too grew up physical activity was super important for me.
Yeah.
Me and my brother always out in the woods, in the ponds, throwing bricks, playing, with creatures and getting dirty and in the dirt. And we're of a similar demographic age group, and being inside.
We were free range kids.
Yeah. Being inside,
it was seriously,
that was
the light went on the street light. Oh gosh, yes, absolutely. Stay inside and watch TV. That was awful. That was terrible. That was a terrible thing. Well, yeah, because you didn't really have any reason to stay inside, right? There was. I didn't.
We're exploring.
I mean, Atari was something that occurred during my during not high school, but later in life, Atari and stuff occurred, and then it was like, you're going to sit inside and play games? I mean, it wasn't the cool thing to do. It really wasn't. I mean, it was a neat thing that happened, but nobody was like, hey, let's sit inside all day and do this. Like, come on, let's go play baseball.
Yeah,
let's go do this.
It's so interesting how times have changed, and especially after COVID, where we're all kind of isolated and stuck indoors. And I think, that physical activity that you and I innately relied on as kids, I think that helped us cope with, the stresses of the day, and just step away from, our worrisome thoughts and use energy, like get our energy out. And I think, I think today with, a lot of what we're seeing today with the younger population that are more sedentary and don't really explore or go out in nature and see creativity in a more simplistic way, we're seeing a lot of physical and mental health issues. I posted something recently about the research coming out for 20, 30, and 40-year-olds, not to mention adolescents. So, that there's something to be said about moving the physical body and how that manifests over the course of our lifetime. Like when we learn these behaviors early on, which we don't even, like you and I didn't even think about it. It was just, let me outside, it's just.
Let me go do it.
Yeah, think it's a little bit more challenging today to motivate our kids. It
really is. I mean, it's much easier. You're exactly right. I mean, it's much easier for me to see the benefits of exercise, because when I don't get to is when I start feeling bad, right? And you kind of go through these things where you burn yourself out. But I've learned to kind of taper myself now so that I don't burn myself out. I mean, I bought a smartwatch and a monitor, right? Because I have literally, and I have put myself in toxic shock from too much exercise. So, and that is not fun. It's like the absolute worst flu you have ever had for days. I worked out once and then sucked down a protein shake and went for a blood test and got a call the next day saying that I was in severe adrenal failure because. But I work out that hard. I would work out that hard. I didn't use the monitor to make sure I did enough. It was to keep myself from doing way, 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 way too much.
What was that during your football career or later on in your young adult?
This was like a year and a half ago.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Wow! Yeah. So that's very recent. Okay, so let's explore that. I'm addicted to that. I'm most definitely addicted to exercise.
Junkie. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
But yes. But what I have been able to do is understand that cycle of the endorphin, then none, and that high low is something that you get into this feeding frenzy, and you get that higher and higher, but you get that higher because you get the low as well. And I've read and I understand that this is something that is keeps people in abusive relationships.
Yes.
That love-hate cycle is incredibly addictive. It's also something that people on medical or on mental psychological drugs, however you say it, get hooked on that cycle as well, and will actually they'll actually get hooked on not taking their drugs and then taking their drugs because they want that high, right? And get it. But yeah, I'm total endorphin junkie. Absolutely.
I will profess.
But I've been able to smooth it out. Because I'd have those days where I felt like crap and days when I didn't. And now by kind of doing a little bit, a more tempered regimen daily, I'm in much better shape. I've actually lost a lot of body fat. I've actually lost weight. It's easier for me to lose weight. It's easier for me to maintain it. And I'm much more mentally stable.
Are you familiar with...
As far as mood swings.
That's, that self-awareness that you have in conjunction with your monitor there on your wrist. Are you familiar with the Whoop watch? Have you heard of the Whoop watch?
Yes.
So myself being an exercise addict, like going for 12, 15